Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a different video and tell you guys how I stick to the same family in The Sims 4. You guys always ask me how I don't get bored and make a bunch of different save files, which I definitely have done in the past, but I do have some tips and tricks on how to actually stay consistent with your families and yeah, never get bored with them. So, jumping right into things, I think my first biggest tip is to really create a storyline when you first start. If you guys have seen my live streams from the very beginning with the Sparks family, you would know that I started with just Hannah and I made up a whole story for her. She started going to university. She lived in like an apartment dorm kind of situation and she had some neighbors, which was Jordan, one of his friends Xavier, and Macy. And he lived with them, and then yeah, they all became friends, and that was that. I mean, if you guys want to see more of that story, then they're all in the live section of my channel. But yeah, I feel like this is so crucial to making a strong connection with your Sims so that you actually get invested in them and their lives. If you just start with a Sim, send them to work, whatever, like you're probably gonna get bored and oh, let's fix this quickly. But yeah, you're probably gonna get bored and not really have any reason to want to keep playing. So if you create a story, then it keeps you coming back. My next tip is to use MC Command Center to slow time down. This isn't going to be for everyone, but I really like doing this. So I have so much more time with my Sims in a day. This gives you so much more time to actually get your Sims ready for the day. They can go on outings, dinners, dates, parties, and you just have so much more time to actually do things rather than just waiting for them to walk around and wasting half their time eating or something like that, because that can get really boring and no one wants to play that. So yeah, if you guys are wondering how you do that, once you have MC Command Center downloaded in your mods folder, you can click on a computer, MC Command Center, MCC settings, gameplay settings, and then game time speed. I have mine set to 35. The default is 25. I think 35 is a really great spot. It's not too slow, but it also is enough of a difference to actually be able to do things in your sim days. The next thing I want to talk about is packs. You guys are always asking me what packs I recommend for family gameplay and the packs that are the most fun, and obviously everyone's going to have a different opinion, but these are the recommendations I always am going to give. The first one is Get Together. I'm always using the club features from Get Together. So for example, we have a family group because Rustin has moved out of home, so I just think it's a really nice way to stay in touch with family members and friends who have moved on but you still want to catch up. You can just start a gathering straight away and they'll all come. So it just saves you having to invite them all individually or whatever. And then I also do it for friends as well. The girls have their little friend group who they can catch up with, and of course you can add activities if you want as well. I don't actually have an example here, but I also do it for clubs and sport groups. If I want my Sims to maybe join, I don't know, like a football team or something, I can just go ahead and make a club for that, and because we don't have that in the game. So you could download a football pitch from the gallery, make that the club hangout location, invite some Sims, and then make the activities to, kick a ball around or whatever. You can get really creative with clubs, and I do think it really expands on the game and lets you be very creative, which I love. Next is seasons. Obviously you get weather, but I mainly love seasons for the calendar and how you can make all different sorts of holidays. Of course we have the classic holidays like Christmas, Halloween, etc. But I love to add school holidays. You could add summer break. When you're creating a holiday, you can select a day off work or school. You can also download a few mods that give you so many more icons, which really makes it for me because you could get so many ideas just from these. I also like to do snow days because that's not in the game. And then I also like to just give them some public holidays. So maybe on a Monday, they have the day off, so they have a long weekend. There's so many different holidays you could come up with in your game, and it just makes it a lot more realistic. And you're able to spend a lot more time with your Sims by giving them those days off school and work that you wouldn't usually have, because otherwise they're always just going to work and school and you never actually get to spend time with them. So yeah. Next is growing together. Obviously growing together just expands on infants, and then there is some really good gameplay for elders as well. I just really recommend it mainly for infants and toddlers. They get their little quirks and milestones, and I also really like it because it gives the toddlers and infants' actual personalities. For example, Kimberly and Kaylee are twins, but they had very unique quirks as infant and toddlers, and that actually ended up shaping how I wanted them to be personality-wise as teenagers. So yeah, I really like growing together for that aspect. Then I would always recommend cats and dogs, of course. I feel like you need pets in your family gameplay. I think that's just a given, so I'm always going to recommend that one. And then high school years is my last recommendation, obviously for teenagers, but also Copperdale. This is the world that it comes with. I think this world is the perfect world for family gameplay. There's so much to do, and I really like how it's so open. And then obviously the high school aspect of it, going to high school. There's also great mods, which I'll talk about after, that expand on high school years as well and really add to your teenagers. And all these packs are currently on sale on Instant Gaming. Get Together is currently 55% off, Seasons is 69% off, Growing Together is 68% off, Cats and Dogs is 69% off, and High School Years is 65% off. So if you guys do want to grab any of these packs, there will be a link in the description of this video to Instant Gaming, and also my monthly giveaway where you guys have a chance to win any game or DLC of your choice from the catalogue. And of course, there are so many other amazing packs that I really do love, but yeah, these are my top recommendations for fun family gameplay. My next tip is a bit random, but it's actually to decorate your house really slowly. Everyone always asks me, how do you decorate your house? It looks so nice and realistic. And it's just because I start off really slow. I think the one thing about Sims is that we always put our all into it. We'll come and we'll sit down for hours and we'll get burnt out because we spend all our time creating Sims and building and decorating that by the time it comes to playing, we don't even want to play anymore. When you first move into a house with your Sim, just start off with a few bits of furniture, put some moving boxes around, and just build up over time. Start decorating over time. This house would not look like this if I didn't do it in lots of different parts. I didn't decorate this all at once. It's taken like over a year. Obviously for you guys, it probably won't take a year. Just decorate really slowly and really put personality into each of your Sims rooms and throughout the house. Put up family photos, etc. But yeah, just don't burn yourself out by putting your all into decorating and making your Sims look a certain way, because then you're not going to want to play at all. My next tip is actually to turn off aging. So I have auto age off completely. I just like to age up my Sims myself. Otherwise, the world is just moving way too fast. Before you know it, your Sims are going to be young adults and you're barely going to have anything done with them. And when I want my Sims friends to age up, I just go and do that manually, which can be a little annoying, but I think it is so worth it because you can just develop your Sim and their friends so much better and go really in depth with each of them. My next tip is when your Sims age up, mainly from infants, toddlers to children, I would always suggest randomizing their traits. Again, this kind of just ties into what I was saying earlier about their personalities and just doing something different every single time, because if you do the same thing every time, you're going to get bored and want to make a new save, etc. So yeah, with all my Sims, I randomize their traits and just hope that they're good, I guess. And then as they do become, teenagers and young adults, I might add my own trait depending on what I feel that their personality is. Yeah, this has made me feel so much more invested in my Sims and actually focus on each of their lives separately. So yeah, if you don't already do this and you pick your Sims traits yourself, definitely try randomizing them because it is really fun. My next tip is to start playing in normal speed. I feel like we're all guilty of, always ultra speeding everything because we're impatient, but if you just take the time and actually play on one-time speed, just watch your Sims, what they're doing. It's so much more enjoyable. And again, I feel like the main theme of this video is just about being invested in your Sims. And this is a great way to do it. And I feel like that one of the reasons you guys are really invested in this family is because it goes so slowly as well. And I'm really just taking in every little moment with them. So I would definitely recommend trying it in your own saves. I do also just want to mention some mods because I think mods do really enhance family gameplay and being able to stay invested in one save file, but you definitely don't need them. I also have a video on my favorite mods for family gameplay already, and I also always link my whole mod spreadsheet in the description of my videos, which have a lot of great family gameplay mods. But I just want to mention some of my favorite creators for mods. Firstly is A Deep Indigo. They have so many great family mods, activities, and mods that expand on high school, university, so I would definitely go check them out. I use them a lot in my game. My next recommendation is Little Miss Sam. She mainly makes little mods that just enhance on really little things, but it honestly makes such a difference. If there's something that annoys you with the game, she's probably made a mod to fix it. So I'd definitely recommend scrolling through all the mods that they have to offer, because there is something for everyone and definitely makes the game a lot more enjoyable with bugs and things like that. And then Lumpino, I only really use the relationship and pregnancy overhaul mod, and that mod obviously expands on pregnancy, which I think is a very big part of family gameplay, so that's definitely one to check out. And my last tip would be to do time jumps. So for me, a time jump, for example, would be aging the girls up into adults, moving them out, getting them a job, and you just do it all at once rather than making it a whole process and it being over multiple sim days. You just do it all at once and act as if a lot of time has passed. I obviously do this for my content because it just keeps things flowing. But also, even when I'm not filming content, I do this for my families, especially when you start getting a little bit bored and not sure what to do. This is when you usually stop playing and maybe make a new family. But this way, it can keep you really interested and keep things moving along. And if you guys are keeping up with the Sparks family, I will be doing a time jump in the next episode. Sky is going to be turning into a young adult and she would have been graduated and everything, which is super exciting. And then the girls are going to be teenagers instead of preteens, because I am kind of at a point in my gameplay where things are a little bit slow, not much is going on anymore. We've done a lot with everyone, so I'm just ready to take the next jump, and time jumps are a really good way to do that. If you guys have never done a time jump in your game, definitely try it. But yeah, those are all my tips and tricks on how to stay invested in your Sims 4 save files, especially with your families. I think the main takeaway is just to become invested in your Sims and take things really slow. And obviously this isn't going to be for everyone, but this is just how I love to play, and it has really made a difference for me. I've only made one other save file since starting the Sparks family, so yeah, I'm really happy about that, because I used to be a chronic save restarter. I would have a new family every week, but after doing these things, now I just have this one big family that I love so much and that you guys love so much, and you guys are also invested in them as well, which I think really does say something about the way I play. So I'm really happy I get to share my tips and tricks with you guys, and I hope you are able to use them and enjoy your saves. I would love to hear in the comments about your current families, what you guys are doing. I also have a Discord server as well where people love to come and post screenshots of their games, share their stories. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely head over to my Discord. The link's in the description of this video. And there are many of us in there that would love to hear and follow along as well. Well, anyways, guys, this was a little bit more of a shorter video today, but I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And of course, let me know if there are any videos you want me to film that are like this. I love helping you guys and sharing all of my tips and things like that for Sims 4. Anyways, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day or night, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!